One reason you never smash your goals, no matter how serious or intentional you are. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Sophia Wanfo, and this is your safe place for honest conversations on faith, growth, remote working, and building a successful digital career as a digital entrepreneur or service provider. If this sounds like subjects you're interested in, do well to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out anytime I upload helpful videos like this. In the past 2 to 3 years, my life has gotten busier from being a student who is very intentional about doing well academically to being a digital entrepreneur, managing my brand, to taking up leadership responsibilities here and there, and of course, other things that come with being a young person. Given all of these things, one would assume that I should become less productive. But instead, I've noticed that my life has improved greatly and my productivity has also increased. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one thing that took me from 10 to 101% when it comes to smashing my goals. Let's get into it. This is quite simple, and that's why I call it lazy. It's probably something you hear every day, but you haven't gotten result from it because you haven't tried it, or maybe you're doing it, but you're doing it the wrong way. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what exactly it is, how to do it the right way, why you should even do it, and of course, an experience I've had with this particular lazy stuff that has helped me so you can learn better. This is simply writing down your goals. Wait. A lot of people think writing down their goals is about writing down your entire 2025 goals on paper or wherever. That's not what I'm saying. If you've been writing down your goals that way, writing your entire yearly goals that way, and you're not getting results, it's probably because you're not taking it one step at a time. And that's what I want to explain to you in this video. Don't just write down your entire 2025 goals. Break it down into monthly, weekly, and daily. That daily is very important. This is because when you do this, it helps you stay accountable. It helps you act with a sense of urgency, and it helps you understand when you are lagging behind. So you don't need a soothsayer to let you know that if you keep going this way, you're definitely not going to smash your goals. I noticed that I started accomplishing my goals more when I started taking notes of my monthly goals, which helps me decide my weekly goals, which now helps me decide what I'm supposed to do every day. So at the end of the day, I come back to mark what I have done and know what I didn't do for that day. This has a way of keeping you in shape, keeping me accountable. And trust me, ever since I started doing this till now, I am surprised at how something as simple as that could change my life this way. If you are resuming a new academic session, a new semester, and you know you want to read better this semester than the last semester, don't just say, I am going to be very serious this semester, I am going to read my book this semester. It doesn't work that way. Like, come on, think about it. All of the times you ever said that, did it work for you? Of course, it did not. So, what do? Write it down. When do you want to read every day? What time are you supposed to read every day? What time are you supposed to read every day? Write it down. You want to launch a new course, create a new product, you want to pitch a client, you want to, whatever you want to do, write it down. This does a lot to your mind, and it has a way of keeping you on your toes until you get the job done. Even if you want to start studying God's word more or praying more, don't just say, I'm going to read the Bible more, I'm going to pray more. Write it down. Make it a specific task. Make it a task of your day. If I give it a time, yes, give it a time. This is going to help you. Like, when that time comes and you're doing something else, there's going to be this guilt in you. There's going to be this consciousness that, okay, this is not what you're supposed to be doing now. It requires intentionality, and not just intentionality of the mind, intentionality of, oh yes, I'm going to get it done. Put it on paper. Now, do you know, I even found out recently that when you write down your goals, you write down what you want to do, you are more likely to accomplish it by 42%. I was thinking that, whoa, that was too much, until I saw another research that said that when you write down your goals, you are likely to accomplish it by 80%. Can you imagine? This is to tell you what you've been missing out all along. It helps you think too, because imagine that at the end of the day, you're coming down to mark the things you've done and the things you've not done. You come across what you were supposed to do that you did not do. It goes in your head, okay, why am I not able to do this today? And then you are able to even figure out the things you should reduce your attention on. You are able to figure out what you shouldn't do the next time. But if you just go about your life anyhow, you're just going to go all through that way, January, da 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 da, until December, and then you're wondering, how did I get here? And you see, that doesn't make sense. Now, I would recommend you use pen and paper, because we are in a world where everything is digital. Like, you turn here is digital, you turn here is digital. And this has a way of increasing the distraction to an extent, especially if you know you are that person who may not be able to deal with this, or you are starting to practice this for the first time. I would highly recommend you do it on paper. And there's just this piece, there's just this, when you're on your phone trying to check what you've done for the day, and then a notification comes in, a call comes in. But imagine that you're on paper, your phone aside, and then you're doing this. It keeps you in a more quiet place and in a better situation to actually analyze your day and see what you should do better the next time. I would also recommend you keep this book where you are likely to see it every day. Let's say beside your bed, or close to the refrigerator if you're living in a space like this where you just have everything around, or just keep it basically anywhere you are likely to see it every day, probably at the end of every day and at the beginning of every day. All right. And as for when to actually write down these things, I do mine mostly at night, and I think I also recommend that. However, you can still try the morning hours. Just try both and see which works for you. Trust me, this works like magic. I've always heard people talk about it like 3 years ago, but I never knew. I was just thinking, oh, it's one of those talks, until I started to practice it this way intentionally, and I saw how greatly it helps my life. A lot of people reach out to me and they're like, oh, Sophia, how are you able to do this? How are you able to do that? How are you able not to forget? How are you able to catch up with all of it? Is because I write it down. I don't just write it for the year or for the month. I write it for the week, like first week of May. I write it down. And then what I'm supposed to do every single day, I write it down too. So imagine coming at the end of the week to look at what you have been doing all along and find out that there is a lot of cancellations, things you were not able to do. You're definitely going to think like, what have I not been doing? And it's going to even remind you that, girl, if you keep going this way, you are likely not to smash those goals you have for the long term. I believe this makes sense to you. Alright, if you enjoyed this video and watched to this point, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which of these points that stood out for you. If you're having difficulty in carrying out any of these things, or you've tried it but one or two things were not just connecting, also let me know in the comments. I might have an answer to that, and I wouldn't mind helping at all. Do well to like, do well to subscribe, do well to share to a friend who would need this, and do well to turn the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever I post valuable videos like this. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.